The train whistle screamed like a banshee, but it was nothing compared to the venom in the conductor's voice. "Sir, you need to move now." Malik Thompson sat back in the plush leather of the VIP carriage, his tailored suit as crisp as his resolve. The Transcontinental Express, a gleaming monument to luxury, was supposed to be his sanctuary after a grueling week in D.C. He'd earned this seat first class, window view, the works booked months ago for a rare weekend with his daughter in Chicago. But now, a red-faced conductor and a smug passenger in a polo shirt were trying to rip that away. "Excuse me?" Malik's voice was low, deliberate, like a storm gathering on the horizon. "I paid for this seat. My name's on the manifest. Care to explain?" The conductor, a wiry man named Jenkins with a badge that gleamed brighter than his ethics, shifted uncomfortably. "This gentleman," he gestured to the white passenger, whose name tag read Bradley, "needs this seat. It's a priority." Bradley smirked, arms crossed, his Rolex catching the sunlight streaming through the carriage window. "Look, buddy, I don't make the rules. VIPs get priority and I'm VIP." Malik's jaw tightened, but his eyes didn't waver. He leaned forward, just enough to make Bradley flinch. "VIP? Funny, I don't see entitled on my ticket, but I do see my name." He tapped the armrest, where his boarding pass sat, crisp and undeniable. The carriage was a powder keg. Passengers craned their necks, some whispering, others filming with their phones. A young woman in a hijab across the aisle clutched her book, her eyes darting between Malik and the conductor. An elderly black couple near the back exchanged knowing glances, their faces etched with a lifetime of similar battles. The air crackled with unspoken history. Jenkins cleared his throat, his voice louder now, as if volume could mask his nerves. "Sir, I'm not asking. Move to economy, or we'll have to involve security." Malik laughed a sharp, humorless sound that cut through the tension like a blade. "Security? For sitting in the seat I paid for? Tell me, Jenkins, is this about my ticket or my skin?" The words landed like a grenade. Bradley's smirk faltered, and Jenkins froze, his face paling. The carriage went silent, save for the hum of the train's engine and the faint clatter of a coffee cup someone had dropped. Malik didn't raise his voice, didn't need to. His presence calm, unyielding filled the space, a force no one could ignore. Bradley recovered, stepping closer, his voice dripping with condescension. "Don't pull that card. This isn't about race, it's about status. I'm a platinum member. You're what, a one-time flyer?" Malik's eyes narrowed, but he didn't take the bait. Instead, he reached into his briefcase and pulled out a sleek tablet. "Platinum? Huh? Let's see what Transcontinental's policy says about kicking paying customers out of their seats." His fingers moved swiftly, pulling up the company's terms of service. He scrolled, then read aloud, his voice steady but laced with fire. "All passengers, regardless of status, are entitled to their assigned seats unless a safety issue is documented." "Safety issue, Bradley? Or just your ego?" The crowd murmured. A teenage boy in a hoodie gave a low whistle, his phone still recording. Jenkins, now sweating, glanced at Bradley, who was turning redder by the second. "This is ridiculous," Bradley snapped. "Just get him out of here." But Malik wasn't done. He stood 6 feet of quiet strength and faced Jenkins head-on. "You know what's ridiculous? Thinking you can humiliate me in front of all these people and call it policy. You think I don't know what this is? I've been black my whole life, Jenkins. I've seen this script before." The elderly woman in the back spoke up, her voice trembling but firm. "He's right. My husband and I were told to move on a bus in '68. Same excuse, different day." Her words hit like a thunderclap, The carriage erupted in murmurs, some passengers nodding, others looking away, ashamed. Jenkins opened his mouth, but no words came. Bradley, sensing the tide turning, doubled down. "This is my seat now. Move or I'll make sure you regret it." Malik's smile was cold, calculated. "Regret? Oh, I don't think I'll be the one regretting anything today." He tapped his tablet again, this time pulling up a live stream window. "See, I'm a lawyer. Civil rights, mostly. And I've been streaming this whole conversation to my 200,000 followers. Say hi to the internet, Bradley." The color drained from Bradley's face. Jenkins looked like he might faint. The teenage boy in the hoodie let out a loud, "Ooh," and zoomed in with his phone. The young woman in the hijab stifled a laugh, her book forgotten. The elderly couple clapped softly, their eyes shining with pride. Malik sat back down, crossing his legs with deliberate calm. "Now, Jenkins, you've got two choices. One, you let me stay in the seat I paid for and we all move on. Two, you escalate this, and I promise you Transcontinental's HR department will be getting a very detailed email by morning. Your call." Jenkins stammered, his authority crumbling. Bradley, now visibly shaken, muttered something about not worth it, and stormed off toward the economy carriage, shoving past a stunned attendant. The passengers erupted in applause, some cheering, others shaking their heads in disbelief. The elderly woman reached across the aisle and squeezed Malik's hand. "You did good, son," she whispered. But Malik didn't smile. His victory felt hollow, a bandage on a wound that never seemed to heal. He looked out the window at the passing countryside, the golden hues of dusk blurring into streaks. This wasn't just about a seat. It was about every time he'd been followed in a store, every time his daughter had come home crying because someone called her a name, every time the world reminded him that his skin was a battleground. The train rolled on, and Malik's thoughts drifted to his daughter, Aisha. She was 12, bright as the sun, with dreams of becoming an astronaut. He'd promised her this trip would be special, a weekend of museums, pizza, and stargazing. But now all he could think about was how to explain this to her. How do you tell a child that the world she wants to conquer still sees her father as less? The young woman in the hijab, whose name was Noor, leaned forward. "That was incredible," she said softly. I've been there. Not the same way, but I get it." Malik nodded, grateful for the solidarity but weary. "It's exhausting, isn't it? Having to fight just to exist." Noor smiled faintly. "Yeah, but you didn't just fight for you. You fought for all of us." Her words lingered, a spark in the darkness. Malik glanced at the tablet, where comments were pouring in on his stream. "Hero, thank you. This is why we need change." He hadn't planned to go viral, but maybe, just maybe, this could be more than a moment. Maybe it could be a movement. The train slowed as it approached the next station, and Jenkins reappeared, his badge now slightly askew. "Mr. Thompson," he said, his voice quieter now, almost human.
I'm sorry.
"That shouldn't have happened. Can we talk privately?" Malik studied him, searching for sincerity. He saw a man caught in a system, not evil but complicit. "Privately," Malik said.
No.
"Anything you have to say, you can say right here, in front of everyone." Jenkins swallowed hard, glancing at the passengers, who were watching intently. "I was following orders," he said. "But I see how it looked. I'll make this right." "Make it right." Malik's voice was calm but piercing. "You don't fix this with words, Jenkins. You fix it with action. Start with Bradley. Then talk to your bosses. Because if you don't, I will." The carriage was silent again. But this time, it was a different kind of silencia, collective holding of breath. A shared hope that something might change. Jenkins nodded, his face a mix of shame and determination, and walked away. Malik leaned back, exhaling. The elderly couple smiled at him, and Noor gave a small nod of respect. The teenage boy, still filming, grinned and said, "Yo, you're a legend." But Malik didn't feel like a legend. He felt like a man who'd spent his life running a race with weights on his ankles. He pulled out his phone and texted Aisha, "On my way, kiddo. Got a story for you." As the train pulled into Chicago, the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the carriage in a warm, golden glow. Malik looked at the wooden ticket board on the wall, where someone had scratched the words justice or just seats. It wasn't just a question. It was a challenge. Malik stepped off the Transcontinental Express into the bustling chaos of Chicago's Union Station, the evening air sharp with the scent of diesel and city life. His phone buzzed relentlessly notifications from the live stream, now viral, flooding in like a tidal wave. Comments, retweets, messages from strangers calling him a hero, a troublemaker, everything in between. He slipped the phone into his pocket, focusing on the one thing that mattered. Aisha. She was waiting near the station's grand clock, her braids tied back with a bright purple scrunchie, her eyes scanning the crowd. When she spotted him, her face lit up, and she sprinted toward him, backpack bouncing. "Dad!" she squealed, throwing her arms around him. Malik hugged her tightly, the weight of the train incident momentarily lifting. "Hey, kiddo," he said, kissing her forehead. "Ready for our adventure?" Aisha's grin faded as she studied his face. "You okay? You look tired." He hesitated. "How do you explain to a 12-year-old that the world tried to break you today?" "Long day," he said, forcing a smile. "But I'm here now. Pizza first, or museum?" "Pizza," she declared, tugging his hand. "But you're gonna tell me what happened, right?" Malik chuckled, her persistence a mirror of his own. Yeah, let's eat first." They settled into a cozy pizzeria near the station, the kind with checkered tablecloths and the hum of old-school jazz. Over slices of deep-dish pepperoni, Malik recounted the train incident, keeping it light at first. Bradley's Rolex, Jenkins' sweaty panic, the teenagers' ooh. But Aisha's eyes grew serious as he described the confrontation. "So, they tried to kick you out because you're black?" she asked, her voice small but sharp. Malik set down his slice, the question cutting deeper than he'd expected. "It's complicated, Aisha. Sometimes people don't even realize what they're doing. They just follow a script, old habits, old systems." "That's stupid," she said, folding her arms. "You're a lawyer. You help people. Why should you move?" He leaned back, the weight of her innocence pressing against the reality he knew too well. "You're right. It is stupid. But it's also why we keep fighting. Not just for me, but for you, for everyone who gets told they don't belong." Aisha nodded slowly, her eyes drifting to the window where city lights blinked like stars. "Did you win, though?" Malik thought of the applause, the viral video, the fleeting victory. "For now," he said. "But winning one fight doesn't fix the war." That night, in their hotel room, Malik couldn't sleep. Aisha was curled up in the next bed, her soft snores a reminder of why he kept going. He opened his tablet, the screen glowing with notifications. The video had exploded 2 million views and climbing. News outlets were picking it up. "Black lawyer stands up to discrimination on luxury train." Comments ranged from heartfelt support to vile slurs. The internet's usual tug-of-war between hope and hate. One message caught his eye, from a user named at Justice Now. "Thank you, Malik. My son saw this and said he wants to be a lawyer like you." He stared at the words, a lump forming in his throat. Maybe this was bigger than a seat. Maybe it was a spark. The next morning, Malik and Aisha hit the Museum of Science and Industry, her favorite. She darted between exhibits, marveling at the U-505 submarine and the giant heart model, her laughter a balm for Malik's soul. But his phone kept buzzing calls from reporters, a message from his law firm partner, even an email from Transcontinental's PR team requesting a dialogue. He ignored them all, focusing on Aisha's joy as she dragged him to the planetarium. That evening, under a clear Chicago sky, they spread a blanket in a park for stargazing. Aisha pointed out constellations, her voice bubbling with facts she'd learned from her astronomy club. "That's Orion's belt," she said, tracing the stars with her finger. "It's like a warrior, right?" Malik smiled, lying back on the blanket. "Yeah, a warrior who never gives up." She turned to him, her face serious again. "Dad, what happened on the train, will it happen to me too?" The question hit like a punch. Malik sat up, choosing his words carefully. "Maybe, kiddo. I won't lie to you. The world's not always fair. But you're strong, and you've got people like me, like your mom, like all those folks cheering on that train whole fight with you. And you'll fight for others, too." Aisha nodded, her eyes fixed on the stars. "I want to be like you, standing up, even when it's scary." Malik's heart swelled. "You already are," he whispered. Back at the hotel, Malik finally opened the email from Transcontinental. It was carefully worded, full of corporate platitudes about regret and commitment to inclusivity. Attached was a formal apology and an announcement. Jenkins and 2 other staff members involved had been terminated, and Bradley's platinum status was revoked pending an investigation. The company promised a review of their policies and mandatory training for all employees. Malik read it twice, his emotions a tangle of relief and skepticism. Firings were a start, but policies didn't change hearts. He thought of the elderly couple on the train, their story of a bus in '68. How many apologies had they heard? How many promises? He drafted a response, his lawyer's precision tempered by raw honesty. "Your actions are a step, but steps aren't enough. I'll be watching, and so will millions of others. Make this mean something." He hit send, then posted a follow-up on his stream. "This isn't about one seat or one train. It's about dignity. Let's keep the conversation going." The response was immediate. Thousands of comments poured in, stories of discrimination, of standing up, of hope. A woman who'd been denied a job because of her accent. A man profiled at a store. A teenager bullied for their heritage. Each story was a thread in a tapestry of struggle, woven together by shared resilience. The next day, Malik and Aisha visited the Adler Planetarium, where Aisha begged to stay for a lecture on black holes. As she scribbled notes, Malik's phone rang his partner, Lisa, from the firm. "Malik, you're everywhere," she said, half laughing. "CNN wants an interview. So does MSNBC. You're a movement now." "I'm just a guy who wanted his seat," he said. But even he didn't believe it anymore. "Bull," Lisa said. "You're a symbol. People are rallying Malik. There's a petition to make Transcontinental rewrite their entire customer service protocol. Your name's on it." He glanced at Aisha, who was now asking the lecturer a question about event horizons. "I didn't ask for this," he said quietly. "Maybe not," Lisa replied. "But it's yours now. What are you going to do with it?" That question haunted Malik as they returned to D.C. the next day. The train ride was uneventful, no confrontations. No cameras, but the weight of the moment followed him. At home, he sat at his desk, staring at the wooden ticket board he'd bought as a memento from the station gift shop. Someone had scratched justice or just seats. Into it, a replica of the one on the train. It felt like a talisman, a reminder of what he'd started. He opened his laptop and began writing, Not a legal brief, but a call to action. He poured his heart into it, weaving in Aisha's dreams, the elderly couple's story, Noor's quiet solidarity. He wrote about the exhaustion of fighting, the hope of winning, the necessity of both. When he posted it, titled More Than a Seat, it spread faster than the video, shared by activists, educators, everyday people hungry for change. Weeks later, Transcontinental announced a new board of advisors on equity, and Malik was invited to consult. He accepted not because he trusted them, but because he knew change required more than outragite required work. He brought Aisha to the first meeting, letting her see what it meant to fight from the inside. Under the stars that night, Aisha asked, "Dad, do you think it'll ever stop? People being unfair." Malik looked at her, his warrior in the making. "Not in my lifetime, maybe, but every fight makes it a little easier for the next person. And you'll be there, kiddo, making it better." She smiled, leaning against him. "We'll make it better together." The story of Malik Thompson and the VIP seat became a touchstone, a spark that ignited conversations in boardrooms and living rooms alike. It wasn't just about a train or a seat, it was about who gets to belong, who gets to be seen. So, what do you think? Was Malik's fight about justice or just a seat? Share your thoughts because the conversation is far from over.